All right, here we are. So, what is up, everyone? It's Justin back again with another live stream. And as you can see, I got some guests on. If y'all want to introduce yourselves,
Yeah,
Mike,
Kim, okay. Go first.
I'll let Mike go first. Yeah.
All right. Well, hi everyone. I'm Mike. My YouTube channel is Did You See That? For anyone that doesn't know, I do movie reviews. I do live streams. I do Back to the Future content. That's kind of my niche. And yeah, like Adventure Days, a little bit like Justin does with like entertainment, like road trips and stuff. I do like Adventure Days where I'll explore like kind of maybe new places that's open up near me or places that exist already and I kind of travel to for the first time. So yeah, kind of just like a wide range of content, to be fair.
Yeah, there you go. You have to also go. I forget where it is. It's definitely on the East Coast, I believe. Some dude has like the Back to the Future museum, like in his like garage where Christopher Lloyd's visited and stuff. He's got like original cars and like the Libyans like bus and stuff like that. If you ever come over here, you gotta like book a tour and we'll go to that.
Definitely, man. I'll let you know. Well, I'm going to be in Florida in like September 2022. So
there you go. Just a few miles away from PA, right?
Right.
All right. So now we come to Kim. How are you?
Hello, my name is Kimberly. I am from The Kimberly Show, and I post mostly vlog content, days in my life, fun stuff like that. I'm not necessarily the most Marvel expert, but I am a huge Marvel fan, and Justin and I have gone to see plenty of Marvel movies, so I'm excited to be here. Thank you, Justin.
Of course, Mike. I had a really fun time. She had me on one of her podcasts before we were talking about like dating and stuff like that. So we were talking about like dating horror stories and whatnot. It was really entertaining.
It was a lot of fun.
Wow. I'll have to go listen to that.
Yeah, like we're meeting up with people from like old dating sites like Plenty of Fish and stuff like that. Have you ever heard of that one? I don't know if that's over in the UK, but like Tinder and Tinder horror stories and whatnot.
All dating app horror stories.
well, believe it or not, like my partner Emma, I actually met her from Tinder. So
okay,
yeah, I know about dating sites.
Yeah, you never know. And Kim has also told me before that like some people use those dating sites to like recruit women into this like crazy horror story-esque scenario and stuff, and like you don't realize until you see it on the news and stuff. It's like, damn.
Okay.
Luckily yours turned out the opposite of that.
Right. But there's plenty of horror stories along the way.
Yeah, I got my friend Anthony already. He just said, oh, did it say goo? I thought it said good. Maybe he forgot the D at the end. But yeah. So yeah, the whole point of this is obviously just to talk about Hawkeye spoilers. Kim's here with me, as she said. We've seen a bunch of Marvel stuff together. She hasn't seen Spider-Man No Way Home though. So if you guys can refrain from any Spider-Man No Way Home spoilers in the comments. And if we do have a light spoilers, Kim, we'll be gentle with you. Don't worry.
That's okay. I'm going this week.
There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to start out, I mean, we're just gonna do like obviously we introduced ourselves and stuff like that, and like kind of what I want to talk about, and I'll lead with this one because I got a little bit to say, but just like how we felt as Hawkeye as a character beforehand, or even Jeremy Renner in that role. For me, it was something where he was kind of bland. I didn't know if it was just I hated Jeremy Renner or just like they didn't give him much to do. I'm like, do you guys feel that at all? Like in those Avengers movies, at least, like he wasn't given that much to do.
Yeah, Kim, do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I feel like in the original Avengers movie, he was kind of underrated, like you said. I feel like they didn't give him much of a storyline. They didn't really give him a backstory. They just kind of threw him right into the fire. And we're like, he's just this great archer. And you're like, how? Why?
But I think that he was like a puppet. He was a puppet too. Like he was just
exactly. And I think like over time though, they did kind of give him like skills and stuff, which so I've always been like a little bit of a Hawkeye fan. But you know, I do think that they kind of slacked in giving him a backstory and like creating hype around his character. For sure.
No, yeah. And that's where I was too, because like I don't even remember what Hawkeye did in Avengers: Age of Ultron, besides the fact that like we got to meet his family at that like cabin and stuff like
Hmm.
that, like the farmhouse or whatever, countryside house or whatever. Like that part was cool. I like that, but it's just like I think with this show, at least, not to delve too much into what I liked about it so far, but like once I saw the first episode and they like showed it in the eyes of Kate Bishop looking at Hawkeye as her favorite Avenger, like no, this like someone liked this guy a lot, and this guy meant someone to people. I was like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I want to hear this story. You know, like. So I think after that, after my bitterness, like Jeremy Renner, he's like I said, I've seen him in what was that? It was the really bad Mike, you might know this, like the really bad witch hunter movie he was in with
Hansel and
Gina
Gretel?
Davis. Yeah, that. And
I
Hansel and
like
Gretel
that
witch hunters.
movie.
It's so dumb.
I
I've never seen that movie.
like that
No,
movie.
I don't know. I liked him in Tag though. That movie Tag was pretty good.
Yeah, he did
Yeah,
really well in that movie.
Hey Kim, I
yeah.
think my friend RC likes your flag back there. Oh, in the comments it shows the little Brazil flag with the thumbs up, but here it's just oh yeah, it says one BR up, so I guess that's translating to one Brazil flag up or something. But Mike, you want to go ahead? How'd you feel about the character previously?
Yeah, but you know, it's kind of like the same as you guys, but like I've never really been a big Hawkeye fan, so I appreciate like you know out of the whole Avengers, like he's just you know a generic guy with a bow and arrow. Essentially, that's like who he is.
Yeah, like Green
Uh,
Arrow or anything like that. There's
Yeah,
no different.
yeah. Like I felt like you know, and I'm sure we'll discuss this as we you know dive deeper into this for a discussion. But I definitely agree about like the whole start of the series, like Kate Bishop, and you know, like it's nice to see like someone looks up to just a guy with a bow and arrow. And I don't know if it was kind of like new footage, the shot of him from the 2012 scene, because it felt like some CG was added in there to
Yes.
like jumping off the building or whatever it was. So you know that part of it was cool for sure, but I personally haven't really felt anything for Hawkeye until kind of like Endgame, where you know his family was part of the snap with you know Thanos.
Yeah,
Like
I was just like, I thought it was cool that that was the first scene, like in Endgame, I believe, right? It showed his family.
yeah, and like when that happened at the time, I was like, you know, I think everyone was like, oh, you know, like wow, like taken back by that because it's kind of like imagine if you were outside, you know, with your family just doing some activities, you turn around the next moment like they're all snapped and gone. You'd be like, you know, that you'd go crazy. You'd be like, where have they gone? And like I felt like that part like it was really effective. Like that's kind of definitely one of the best ones, Hawkeye. But for me,
Yeah,
like
it was like personal
yeah,
at that moment.
yeah, for me, like one of my favorite parts of the Hawkeye character in general is the part where he was Ronin in Endgame. I wish we
That was
saw more
badass. Yeah,
Ronin at the time, and like going forward, I wish we did, but I'm sure we'll get into that. But yeah,
yeah.
man, to answer your question overall, I haven't really like had a big love for his character. Like I agree with you guys. I agree with Kim. Like he hasn't really had like any backstory to kind of like warrant being like he's an interesting guy, you know?
Yeah, and he didn't have like in the Hawkeye show, like you said, we'll talk about it a little later. He didn't have any badass like standout moments. Like he
None.
wasn't like it might have been just like yeah, boom, boom, and like you had the one liner in what was it, the first Avengers? He's like better clench up Legolas or something like that. Like and he like Iron Man flew him up. But yeah, I think that's definitely where they had the issue, and they're like self aware almost, not meta, but like even Haley Steinfeld's character said like, oh, I think you have a branding issue. Like maybe that's why people don't like you.
Yeah.
I just feel like there was so much potential with Hawkeye and like they could have made him so much cooler and they just like waited so long, which is also why I think like it was hard for people to get on board because they waited so long to like give him something
I,
cool.
I
I
had no
agree.
interest in this show. Like I just like the show's like
No.
okay, like another guy who shoots bow and arrows. I know Marvel like has had their Archer time to shine, but like you've had Green Arrow, Red Archer, Dark Archer, and like DC live action and stuff like that. And then Green Arrow is also in Smallville. So even though,
Yeah,
like
they
I
could
said,
have done a lot more.
two different
Yeah.
comic brands, it's like you can give this person, but at least like I feel like the arrows and the action were there, but like the stuff that made it stand out was like all the depth with him. So that's where like I'll blend into my positives, where it's just like the depth with his character, how he has like PTSD with Natasha, and then he has the whole thing with his hearing issue. Like, I think that's also why I like Spider-Man No Way Home, because it's finally getting into like these people are real people that have real problems. Shit gets dark. Things can be happy. You can find happiness, but it's like, no, life isn't sunshine and rainbows and badassery, and then you just walk away unscathed by everything. Like,
Yeah, true.
No, it's true. Yeah. No, I've got to agree. I think one thing I want to touch on very quickly when you mentioned about what you think of Hawkeye, I feel like this series is like 5 years too late at times. A bit like
Yeah.
the Black Widow movie, like that was kind of like 5 years too late.
it was,
Like
yeah.
these are like two of the first ever Avengers, and like we're only getting their backstories in 2021. But it's not in like what 2012 the MCU and
Yeah.
stuff.
Because
I felt like
Hawkeye was like the
yeah,
agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. first, right?
yeah,
They waited till everything was done, where we no longer like, not to say we no longer care, but we don't care anymore.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's maybe like I feel like also it's like with the Hulk. Like you had the first Incredible Hulk movie with Edward Norton, which I like. It's actually one of my favorites. People give me shit for it, but I love that
I like
movie a
the
lot.
movie.
Then like I saw him in Avengers, Mark Ruffalo. Like it wasn't bad, but then like just after that, they had the really weird love story with him and Natasha, and then like
That was weird.
in Thor Ragnarok, I like the gladiator fight, but then they had the Smart Hulk, and then he had like what's that, like a midlife crisis or something, like he had trouble performing in Infinity War. I was like, did they like, I don't feel like Hulk's badass. I just feel like he's just like a doofy guy. Like, so but it's kind of like that with Hawkeye, in my opinion. I was just like, yeah, they don't know what to like. But then when I saw this, and like the good thing about Disney Plus is all their shit's like cinematic. Like it's got big budget. And where you were talking about earlier, Mike, when they were showing that scene at the beginning when she was like watching him do his thing during the Battle of Avengers, I actually found out when they showed Avengers Tower during that point in time when Hawkeye did that like jump off the roof with the arrow or whatever.
Yeah.
The letters on the building in Hawkeye in that moment aren't the same letters in the 2012 Avengers film at that specific moment. So it was either a screw up or different universe type thing.
Wow.
Oh,
I would have
wow.
thought maybe more of a screw up.
Yeah, probably like the
I think so.
like what the production guy on the Mandalorian just standing back there or something.
Yeah. No.
It could be though, yeah, but it's just either there's a lot more to talk to, but like just more positives. Keep it coming, guys.
Yeah, again, Kim, do you want to go first?
Positives about the TV show or just Hawkeye in general?
The TV show now. I should have said that.
I know, sorry. No, I liked the show because I thought that like plot wise it was engaging, because I did end up watching the entire thing like you did, Mike. I binged it all in one day, which I feel like wasn't the case with some of the other Marvel TV series, like with What If or with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That wasn't bingeable to me. So I think what I did like about the series is that it was bingeable. It was interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got Anthony A. Perez, Kimbo. He's like one of my YouTube buddies, and Mike since like almost day one. He's just happy to see us together. I want to get him on a live stream. We've done like a Wonder Woman review before where it was like, it was over Skype and we had filmed like an hour-long thing. I had to do a few takes and edit. I was like, I don't like doing that. Like I just want to do this, like everything in the moment. Yeah. So
yeah, man, you can't beat it. It's just that atmosphere, isn't it? So
yeah.
You have to agree.
So Perez, man, thank you for stopping by and listening. Hope everything's going well.
But yeah, man, like in terms of like what Kim was saying with the positives, like I kind of agree it was bingeable. I will say I haven't read any of the comics. Like, I don't know about you guys, so I haven't got like a background going into any of these movies or shows or anything. But I know like Kate Bishop was like talked about for a long time, and like Haley Steinfeld to get cast as that role. A lot of fans, wanted to see that, and I think like she was one of the best parts of the series.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
She was great.
Yeah, I feel like she's like kind of like a great addition to, like this MCU, but also like just Hawkeye, and like kind of give him a purpose to, give her a purpose to kind of be with Hawkeye and give him more depth to his character.
Yeah, she's definitely like supplementing him too. Thanks, Prez. This is actually my brother's dog. I'm just dog sitting, but luckily she settled down and quiet. But yeah, like to go off what you said, it's like even since her intro with the whole thing where she was shooting the arrow at the bell tower and she's screwing up, it's like, you know, like it is cool to just see people struggle, and like she doesn't become a badass Avenger in a day. You don't see her established. You see her have to work hard for what she wants and stuff. So it's just like, I like this. And the coolest thing was she wasn't taking no for an answer. Like to be trained by Clint and to work with Clint. She was just like, I want to do this. Like, that's not stopping me. We need to find out what's going on with my mom. There's some crazy Black Widow chick after me. Don't know who she is, but regardless, I'm going to still do my thing, and you're going to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I feel like Kate Bishop was the Hawkeye that like I wanted back in 2012 when they introduced like Clint. She was the kind of character that I was expecting. So I'm glad that it finally became.
I agree. I felt like she had more backstory than Clint Barton had of a backstory.
We know so much more about her than we do Clint.
Because like you've had little things sprinkled in, like obviously you've had Clint talk about Budapest and stuff like that, or Budapest, as they were saying in Black Widow. And then you had him early on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and then we'll talk about it later, but a link with the last portion of the sixth episode about his wife and whatnot. But yeah, it's just there's certain things sprinkled in about his past, but I think that made it more impactful for this, because he's got all this emotional weight to not just the Ronin shit, but other stuff from years prior before he was Ronin too. So it's like, you know, like this is taking a toll on this guy, and you can just tell when he's watching the Avengers musical, and he's just like, he's just like, nah, screw this, I don't like this.
Well, that Avengers musical was an awesome idea because, like, you know, if you think about it, like in the world that we live in right now, you know, it only takes a production company to get a big idea and be like, right, we're going to turn that into a stage play, or we're going to turn that into a musical. So it makes sense that, you know, with, you know, Steve Rogers and everything he's done, they would use that to make like an Avengers style musical. People would go see that.
Yeah, people would scoop that up right away.
Yeah, and I agree with you guys that, you know, like the PTSD element, I think was fantastic, because the thing is, you know, he is going to be scarred by, like, you know, your friend, but he sacrificed himself to you know, get the Soul Stone. You're going to be traumatized by that.
Yeah, that was a crazy scene, because I think everyone kind of knew it was going to be Natasha, just because like Hawkeye has the family and whatnot. So, but I was just like, it's going to be Natasha, but I like that they're both willing to sacrifice each other for the other person.
Yeah.
And they all had good reasons to do so too. Like they both had a good reason to do so.
No, yeah, I agree. One other thing I liked as well about the whole series is like the Christmas vibe of it. Especially the release is definitely the right time. But yeah, I just felt like the Christmas vibe. I'm not sure about in general, but I don't know if any of the MC movies or TV shows have actually been set in Christmas previously. You guys might be able to help me on that one.
I don't think so.
I believe there was some sort of Christmas aspect to Iron Man 3. I think, because I remember it was snowing when he got out of the suit and found the kid with the potato launcher. And I think that little small town.
Oh, you're right. I think it might have been Christmas.
Remember the small town he went to, and there was like that agent chick that was after him, the extremist chick. And I think there was like Christmas lights around the bar or something. That's all I can think of, really.
Right. But yeah, I guess it's like really cool to have like that Christmas setting in New York, because like how many films or whatever we've had now set in location, just to kind of have like a different feel to it. I felt like the series had like that definitely like different feel to it. I think that's one thing that kind of worked in as an advantage, like having that Christmas setting.
I like how they added the Christmas music too. It kind of like made it more fun a little bit, you know, a little bit more light.
So Kim, this isn't really a big spoiler, but there's a scene, one of the earlier scenes in the Spider-Man movie. He's swinging by, and it's like a literally wordplay, swinging and miss almost. Like, so he's just swinging through New York City, and out of like the corner while he's swinging through things, there's a little billboard for Rogers the Musical.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's like, yeah. So it's not like you ruined the movie for me.
I would never.
Nah.
So yeah, we got that. We're talking about the earlier portions, but the middle towards the later portions, like I thought I would hate like all the LARP stuff. Like because I always thought like those dudes are dorks in real life. But as I've gotten older and like gotten more into Renaissance fair stuff, I was just like, you know what? This is basically like live action video games almost. Like people are pretending to be someone on
Right.
VR chat or Call of Duty or The Sims or like online lobbies and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, it's the same thing. Like they're doing the same thing. And I was originally like weirded out at first by the humor, but I was like, you know, like, no, screw this. This fits. This fits. I get it.
I liked them too because I feel like it just added a different element. It wasn't just those two, you know, Kate and Clint and his protege. I like how they added more characters to, like I said, make it more interesting overall.
Yeah.
And I also really liked the villains, like the bad guys in the movie. I don't know
Oh,
why. They were so
yeah.
interesting to me, and they did a really good job with Maya and her backstory and like making you invested in finding out more. I think they did a good job with the villains.
Yeah,
For sure.
that was cool. I think. Did they ever call her Echo in the show at all, or no?
Is that who she is? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that
They
like
did not call her that though.
Not that I know.
she's not Echo yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I did find out that she is actually deaf and a what do you call it when you only have one leg in real life?
Amputee?
Yeah, she's an amputee in real life too. I was thinking like
Oh, cool.
paraplegic, but I think that's something else.
Sure. Yeah, definitely is. But no, man, that, you know,
That's
that's
cool,
awesome
though.
to have that representation because, like, have you guys seen the Eternals?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously that lady in there, I can't remember her name now, but she's also deaf in reality as well. So, you know, it's cool to have that representation, not just someone like kind of faking it as such.
Yeah, because it's not
Especially since Barton was not really deaf. He was just hard of hearing. So it was nice to have someone who actually was, you know.
but he had that
Yeah,
like
sure.
communication and stuff. I was just like, yeah, that's it's up. But like Mike was saying, now I have never asked you this, I don't think. But
Okay.
what nationality are you? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah. So I'm British myself. I was born in the UK, but my dad was born in Malta. So
What is
I'm Malta.
Malta?
So it's
Oh,
next to
cool.
Italy. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so it's next to Italy. So I'm like, I'm fully in. Well, you know, I was born in the UK, but I'm like half English and like half Maltese because of my dad.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, like as you said, like, you know, internals, and then this one, like just like the representation of like, you know, a person who is deaf or blind, like say like Matt Murdock's character as such, you know, like Daredevil, like he, you know, he's blind, or like, you know, like different ethnicities and stuff represented in these Marvel movies. You know, it's awesome. It's about time, to be honest, that have a bit more of that included.
Yeah, because like what I would really want, and maybe they've done it before and I just missed it, but like not that I have a wickedly bad one. It's like a tiny bit, a little bit of a bump. But where's the dad bod superhero at? Like I don't think we've ever got that yet.
It's true though.
It is.
You know, not everyone's gonna be ripped. You know.
Yeah, it's like Kumail Nanjiani got like ripped for the role, and like you had the dude who what was his name? Gallamash or the dude from Train to Busan, the Asian actor in the film. He had the power fist, the poof, like
Oh, that
in
guy.
Eternals.
Yes, I know.
I think his name was like Gilgamesh or something like that, but I forget.
Yeah.
But he was in Train to Busan, which was like my favorite zombie movie ever. Really good if you haven't seen it. But
Okay.
But yeah, like I just like you were saying, representation there. You get people who are deaf, white, black. I mean, especially with this, you have someone who is an amputee, and like how, like it just paints them in a nice light that like despite her struggles, she's still a badass like assassin type chick. So it's just like, all right, she can be an assassin and she's got all this shit going on. Like you can pick your ass up too, you know, like a little bit of hard motivation, you know.
No, definitely,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, I think like with the, you know, in terms of positives and stuff, you know, I'd say like I definitely think like it was a bit more realistic as well with, you know, Clint Barton have a bit of the hearing problem because, you know, these Avengers, you know, they might have like a helmet on, they might have like Captain America has like that kind of helmet, but it's still,
Yeah.
it's not like an Iron Man, metal helmet, whatever. Like, the amount of explosions they've been through, the amount of like loud sounds they like have, it's gonna, eventually rupture the eardrums or something. It's gonna have that effect. So it's nice to actually see like, oh well, actually, although these explosions, Hawkeye, as a result of it, has got hearing problems. And I felt like the sound mix was good when like he couldn't really make out what Haley Steinfeld's character was saying, and then he could eventually. Like I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I get like when they're talking, you hear.
Especially that whole scene with his son on the phone. I thought that was really well done.
Yeah.
With how because people, I think, when they say hard of hearing, they like don't really fully understand what that's like.
Yeah,
so I think they did a really good representation. They think that like I guess it's like a good representation of how it sounds to someone who is hard of hearing. Like, oh yes, it doesn't sound like you can't hear at all. It's just it sounds like you're in a tunnel kind of. So it was really nice how they did that. I agree.
Yeah, I think that was effective. See, yeah, I agree.
So okay, so like we're moving on. I guess we can all safely say that we enjoyed the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 So getting into, I'll ask you first, Kimba. Like, what did you think before they revealed it? Were you familiar with Kingpin? Did you know he was going to be in the show at all, or?
So my familiarity with the character just was from Daredevil. Yeah. I did not know his name was Kingpin. I don't know if that was just a me not paying attention thing or if it was never actually said. But I'm familiar with Wilson Fisk from Daredevil.
Yeah, they did refer to him more as like Fisk in Daredevil, I believe. They'd say like Fisk is doing this, Wilson like yeah.
Yeah, so but I did know that he was like a mob guy. So it seemed appropriate. I didn't know where they were going to go with the boss of the tracksuit goons. But I think that it being Fisk was like an exciting surprise for me because I do really enjoy him as a villain. I think that he is very ruthless and very not a nice person. So I really liked that he was the bad guy because I was just like, whoa, this is.
Were you like taken off guard when you saw the picture on the phone? Like episode 5 ended, he's like, that's the guy I've been telling you about, Kingpin, and like the episode ended right there.
Yeah. I was definitely shocked.
Yeah. But I was more or less shocked by like, I was expecting like, that's the guy I've been telling you about, Kingpin. I thought they were just going to say it, but they showed a picture, and I was expecting them to just show like a really blurry picture and not credit Vincent D'Onofrio at the end. But no, they showed a picture that was clear enough. You could see it's like, yeah, it's a little blurry, but that's definitely him. And they say his name in the end credits. So I was like, yes, finally. Mike, what about you? Did you get anything spoiled? Did you know he was coming at all?
Yeah. So the thing is for me is I saw a spoiler of it, so I knew it was like he was in the series to start with. It's just some people like putting them spoiler pictures in their thumbnails, and especially if you subscribe to them, like you can't miss that.
No.
Which,
I know Rashad posted something. Yeah.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, like it's cool to see him. I think for me, like firstly, like the Daredevil original movie, I know I revisited this year with Anthony Fresky. He had me on his channel for like a collab, so. It's cool to like know that Marvel, after all this time, even if it's from a movie from like early 2000s, is bring the same person back to try and give them more of like a redeeming arc or like quality to their character.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Because like Wilson Fisk Kingpin is a massive character, especially to like Daredevil and Spider-Man. I might be more others, but I know like those two are kind of like the main ones. Don't worry, Kim, it's not a spoiler. But. But like he's a pretty cool character, and having Vincent come back, that's pretty cool. But yeah, man, like I knew about it from a spoiler, but for me, I kind of feel like with the Hawkeye series and his reveal has been overshadowed by Spider-Man No Way Home. Like everyone's just been like, oh, I wonder who's going to show up in Spider-Man, and no one's been like, oh, Vincent's back in Hawkeye, by the way. Like I feel like his return in general, it's cool to see, and it's awesome to have him back in MCU. I'm excited to see where they're going to go with that. But I feel like at the moment he's been overshadowed far much by Spider-Man.
Yeah. No, yeah, I definitely see it because like No Way Home, like it finally made $1 billion, which is freaking great. I didn't think it would make it so
Yeah.
early, but that's freaking nuts. So, but yeah, I can definitely see, because at the end of the day, after episode 5 of Hawkeye, people were like, "Oh, that reveal though," and that's about it. But like everyone was exploding on the internet, not revealing stuff about Spider-Man, but everyone was more hyped about that. So I think it's not oversaturation, because you got the TV show and then you have the big screen stuff like Spider-Man No Way Home and the Eternals. But I think you do have an issue there, because Marvel movies are getting moved a lot lately, and I think it's pretty much to tie in with other stuff. Like Doctor Strange was supposed to come out in, like, I think it was January before, then it got moved to March, and now it's May. So
they moved it again?
Yeah, it was originally March, and now it's May. But
I remember.
That's so nutty. But yeah. So, and also shout out to the dog in that show. He's fucking adorable.
So cute.
Man, yeah. Like, so the thing is, for me, like, I'm going to reference this as well, because I've got a video dropping either tonight or tomorrow, like my top 10 movies of the year. And like for me, so this year, like in June time, like my little dog passed away, but she only had one eye. So they kind of like see that representation as well for dogs, like in this, and also Cruella this year. Like for me, it's like the special, like, you know, it's the case, you know, not every dog has like 2 eyes. Some of them have like no eyes or 1 eye, or like, you know, lost a leg.
Not every dog's perfect.
And stuff. Yeah, exactly. And you know, that dog's just so cute as well, despite, you know, its disability. So again, like, just that representation's awesome.
I know, like, Kim was probably hyped because she's got dogs who are buttholes.
I was very hyped. And I really like the joke where whenever they would save the world, they're like, man, you gotta let the dog out, because that is like the story of my life. It doesn't matter how crazy your life is, you're just like, at the end of the day, you're like, whoa, gotta let the dog out.
Right.
So cute. I love that. It made it really
cool.
But again, it's reality.
Yeah, and that's what I like, because it's just like you were saying, all these crazy things. Hawkeye has the hearing loss. Someone is an amputee. But when they show these things in the show, obviously they'll like put certain things that come along with that. Like if you're deaf, sign language comes along with that. But like they're still treating these characters like any normal person. They're not going to be like, oh, like you're an amputee, I'm so sorry, what can I get you? Like no one's they're still treating them like people.
Yeah. Definitely. And I think that
they treated ASL like cool too. Sorry.
What was it?
No, sorry.
No, I was saying I liked how they like incorporated ASL, but they made it like cool, like how they could have secret conversations in ASL. Yeah. Like they made it something cool instead of something like, oh, we have to translate for her. Instead they were like, oh, like we could have a secret conversation and no one would know about it.
Yeah.
So like, all right, so we're going into the last episode now. There's still a lot of positives, but Mike, I'll just start you on the thoughts about the last episode, because you just watched it probably like what, 2 hours ago.
Yeah, like it, you know, if that. Yeah, so basically I've binged like the series the entire day. So I've binged it when I was at the gym, like on the treadmill. Binged it when I was making like a dinner tonight, like which took hours, but yeah, did that tonight. So you know, I've been binging. That final episode, I felt like it had mixed feelings. So you know, like for me again, like when I touched on like Black Widow's movie came out like way too late, and this series I feel like parts came out way too late than it should have. You know, it's cool to see like Black Widow's movie had a little bit of payoff for Yelena to finally come face to face with Clint Barton. Like for me, that was cool to see.
Kim's over there wrecking shit. Okay.
She is, right.
He's just like, how I feel about Hawkeye.
I know, right? Yeah, man. Like, no. So yeah, I feel like it was cool. For me, like, I think one of the best parts of like, the last 2 episodes was the scenes we get with Yelena and Kate Bishop. Like, I felt like them two.
Those were cool.
Yeah, they're having good banter, and then that like scene when they're trying to get to the elevator and stuff like that was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
And like, I think also to go off of that, like these scenes, I've watched stuff with Spider-Man, like, and some other Marvel movies, and I've talked about this. You probably heard me say this before, Mike, but like when I see certain superheroes moving, when they're moving in MCU and they're CGI, you just like, there's a certain smoothness that just doesn't look right. But I feel like with this Hawkeye show, they were doing a lot of stunts inside buildings and on green screens and stuff. It just looked very practical and believable. And if they did use CGI for any of the character models, like in the show or anything, I didn't notice. So
Yeah, I felt like I have to agree with you. I felt like some of the action scenes, for most part, like seemed quite fluid, and it looked like as if it wasn't just like quick cut kind of shot, so you couldn't tell what was going on in the action scene. And see, like that when they were going through the offices and up in the last episode, like that was just so good to see. And yeah, I also
it looks so natural when like Haley Steinfeld or Yelena like rappels down on the building and they're looking down. And like they even do it kind of like, you remember that scene from Shazam where the villain's having his little speech and he's like, "What? Yeah. I can't hear you. You're so far away." But like in this, like you hear Clint yelling from like 10 stories up, and like when it cuts to Haley Steinfeld, like obviously it sounds louder for the show, but like it still feels like it's in the distance and there's some like echo. Like good sound design is what sells something sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure, yeah. And one thing I wanted to touch on, like Kim mentioned earlier, is that I felt in like the last episode, like Kingpin was like really like a menacing, like presence demeanor because like he wasn't afraid to hit Kate Bishop. He hit her multiple times. He's trying to kill her.
He said, "No, you place, bitch."
He's a ruthless guy. They did a good job with him.
Yeah, I felt like they did a good job in terms of the ruthlessness and showing like, oh look, this guy's not to be messed with. And yeah, so like the last episode, it has its positives, has its negatives, which I'll get into, and we'll get onto the negatives. But yeah, Kim, what do you think of the last episode?
As a non-movie critic, I was obsessed with the last episode. I thought it was a lot of good action scenes. I thought that it was really fast-paced. We got to see a lot of the trick arrows that they had been talking about that we never actually got to see. Yeah. Like I like to see like Kate working at what I believe to be like the best of her skill set. Clint really started. I love Yelena. I think she's one of my favorite characters in the new phase of Marvel. So, and I agree whole banter between those two is so funny.
And I think y'all wanted mac and cheese after that one episode.
Oh my God, I made some right after. But I just think that the last episode for me was very satisfying, especially since I feel like the beginning of Hawkeye was very slow, a little bit. Yeah. It finally picked up at the end. It made it worth it.
I definitely agree. It's just like a lot of people I heard they were just like, "Oh, the show was good up until this last episode," or "This episode was just it didn't wrap up the show well." And Marvel always does this with their shows; they fall apart in the last episode. Like, I didn't see that. It's just I thought the fights were cool. I thought the trick hours were nice because you had to finally a scene. Obviously, it's a little over the top and embellished, but you had a scene where Kate Bishop and Clint are just fighting all the people, shooting different trick arrows and stuff like that. And I thought when they shot that electricity arrow on all the poles, I was like, "That's cool. I like that."
Yeah.
So it's even though we've seen little things like that in the Arrow TV show on CW or on Smallville, certain similar things, it's still it's finally neat to see some uniqueness. And I remember when he did the one arrow and shot at the car and it shrunk, my dad was like, "What the heck?" I was like, "Oh shoot, Ant-Man, Hank Pym."
Right.
They're like, "What happens now? We have to ask Ant-Man."
I liked it a lot, and Kingpin was definitely ruthless. A lot of people are saying he went down like a bitch against Kate Bishop, who is not even trained and fully seasoned yet. But I'm just all right, well, he didn't die. He just got knocked out, and he got hit by a freaking car beforehand. So, he was still holding his own, and he got lucky. Kate Bishop got lucky, kind of.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. Anyone can win a fight if they get lucky, but it's not based off of their skill if there's luck. But I did want to say, and some eagle-eyed fan noticed this. Vincent D'Onofrio kind of said in an interview, people want to believe that or not, that he's the same Daredevil from the same Kingpin from the Netflix show. But when Kate goes to throw the cufflink for the electricity to go off between all the arrows, it's the same cufflinks that Kingpin wears in the Daredevil show.
Oh, wow.
So that's basically Kevin Feige tried to say because he didn't create the Netflix shows that they're not MCU. It's bro, they're literally like showing footage from the Avengers battle, and like in some of the shows, there's a picture of like the fight in Manhattan, not Manhattan, Harlem with the Abomination and Hulk. I'm like, bro, there's literal references. There's no way you can't tell me this isn't MCU.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just like,
Right.
I think that was cool. Do I think Kingpin's dead? Not really. I think maybe like he'll be knocked out or he'll come back. Not to spoil this, but we can talk about this for future MCU stuff later. I just think he'll be back. And that's where it was. I thought it was kind of weird, not a negative, like I said, because we'll talk about that in a little bit. Not a negative, but it was kind of weird to have them reveal that like Hawkeye's wife was an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. I was like, oh, okay, all right. I guess there's got to be a reason for that, but like it's just like I care about Hawkeye's wife, but do I really care about like hearing about more about her S.H.I.E.L.D. origin story, or do you like I don't know? Do you guys think that was just like a little nod they might have put in there just to let you know?
So I don't know. So I mean, for me, I think one of the biggest issues for myself now. I don't know about you guys agree on this or not. Is it's cool when we get these Marvel movies and TV shows that we've had this year. We've had like 4 movies and like 4 or 5 TV shows, something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot this year.
Yeah, it's been a lot, and don't get me wrong, like some of it's good, some of it's not great, but I think like that nod at the end, cool. Don't get me wrong, like it's like it'd be nice to know a little bit about like the backstory of it. But I think for me, like one of the biggest things is, for example, like that Black Widow movie, and we get to know about Yelena, and then she, right at the end, we'd be like, all right, she's gonna go for Clint Barton. Great, right? So that's led into Hawkeye, and it's given a purpose for being in Hawkeye. But for me, the same thing with like the shield being revealed for Clint Barton's wife, is it doesn't make me want to go back and watch Black Widow again, or doesn't make me want to go back and be like, right, I want to go check out Hawkeye again for the full season to watch this moment with his wife. I'll just go on like a YouTube clip, be like Clint Barton's wife, Rolex watch, for example. Like I would just do that,
Yeah,
So I feel like the payoff's not there. Like it doesn't want me to be like, oh right, I desperately want to go back and watch that series again, or definitely want to go watch that full movie in its runtime again. I don't know about you guys, but that's how I feel on it.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Go ahead, Kim.
I feel like with the whole Shield thing, I hope it was just like a nod to Shield, because I feel like that kind of died off with like how much people care about it. Like I think the only thing that people really valued about Shield from like a non-comic book person is like the whole Peggy Carter stuff. So I feel like if like to make something else, like I feel like it's just kind of like trying too hard, like to make another thing about a Shield agent that I just don't think anyone would care.
Yeah, I agree.
I think so, because like I know they had the Agents of Shield show, and like it was canon for a little bit, and then I think like season 6 they kind of went their own way after that. But it's just like I don't feel like hearing about Agents of Shield now, because they have so many different visions and stuff like that. Like we've already gotten all that show. I understand like we haven't gotten a lot of Shield stuff recently, but then again, it's just I think it was like more of a chore to see that. I don't know, but like I guess springboarding off of that, I'll get into my negatives. I didn't really have a lot, to be honest. Like the show is paced very well. Like even during the first episode, I guess this could be a negative, but it's not really. Like I liked Kate Bishop more than I liked Hawkeye. But now by the end of the series, I like both of them equally. But it's just everything was good. I got everything I wanted to. Would I have liked to have seen Kingpin just like wreck someone? It didn't have to be Kate Bishop, but like I would have liked to see him wreck someone. Like obviously you got the fear aspect, and like like this dude is scary and he's got like a past and stuff like that. But I think that something was missing there. My friend Sarah's here.
Hey,
that's what I'm saying. Like I'm a fan of him now. Like that. Like after all this, I like it a lot. But the only other negative for me is, I'm sorry, like I know people like musicals, but the end credit scene was like the stupidest shit I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was gonna like pan to someone in the audience that was there or something like that. Like I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be something that like it showed the audience and maybe like I don't know, Reed Richards was in the background, like in the crowd. Like it wouldn't have said his name, but it's like a foreshadow to something or like something that Eagle Eye fans can notice. But I don't think they should have showed Kingpin coming back in the end credits scene because that would have been too soon. But yeah, that's about it. I would have loved to seen Hawkeye wear that the classic mask, like the not doesn't need to have wings or anything, but just like I always thought that mask was cool with like the little V going right here. I was like, that's what's up.
Yeah.
But maybe in season 2 if they make it.
I don't know if I'd want to see a season 2.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to see a season 2 either.
You
I think
that kind of told what they needed to tell with the character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because it was so late in the game.
Yeah. Well, Mike, I guess your negatives now. Throw it over to you.
Yeah, so I think like the biggest one for me is like I said earlier in the stream is like I feel like the series is kind of like just years too late than it should have been. Like I definitely feel like after the 2012 Avengers, maybe if you say like a couple of years after, it's 2015 after Ultron, a Hawkeye series. I appreciate Disney Plus. I don't think was around then or that time, so I understand for what it is. Yeah, I guess like for me, like what you guys have said, like Kate Bishop, I like her character way more than like Hawkeye. Even now, I still like her more, and she's only just been introduced to the whole MCU, and she had more backstory than Hawkeye did. It was cool to see like the flashbacks and it related back to like the Avenger movies and like what Hawkeye's been through with the Ronin and stuff. Yeah, I agree with Sarah. I don't think there'll be a season 2. Yeah, I think they'd focus more on Kate Bishop, but like I don't know. I just feel like they should have had maybe again more of the Ronin because I love Hawkeye's run. I think like that's when the
most badass. Like I love seeing badass Hawkeye. Like
like, that's the Hawkeye we should have seen.
The end game scene where he was like killing like people in like the Yakuza or whatever. I think they were in the Yakuza. But yeah, like with the sword just messing people up. And even in Hawkeye, you got the flashback of him messing people up. But like, what would that have meant? I might be crazy then. Do you think that meant like Ronin did jobs for Kingpin, or was I like viewing that wrong? Do you think?
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's just like hired by someone or just like taking this role because like assassin jobs. In the meantime, because it's like this dark place you went to, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It could have been Kingpin. I'm not too sure though.
Yeah. So, was that it for your negatives? Do you have a few more? You say?
I'm not sure. I think I've touched on quite a few, but yeah, I guess for me again, I think it's just like Hawkeye. Like again, I like the character a bit more now. Don't get me wrong. I think again the PTSD stuff was awesome. One thing that kind of I guess like you could kind of like niggle me a little bit was this tracksuit mafia, which was just I guess a cool name to have for a mafia. Completely far fetched, but it was out there. It's cool,
they were definitely like a cartoon group.
Yeah. Sure. But I felt like one of the big bad guys in this was going to be Yelena, like for the whole season, because it teased at the end of Black Widow that she's going to be coming for Clint Barton to assassinate, kill him. I felt like she was going to be like one of the big bad women, should I say, to be Hawkeye's enemy in the season. She kind of shows up for like the last 2 episodes, is in it for a little bit, and then she just makes up with Clint in the end, which was cool. Like, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I felt like she was going to be in a little bit more. And
yeah, so when was she introduced? Was it episode 4?
Yeah, it was like the end of 4, early 5.
End. Yeah, and that mask get up.
Yeah, I definitely feel they could have done something with that to go off what you're saying, because you got to figure like I thought like some sort of like you were saying like Dark Avengers or like some sort of other thing was building, and the chick from Val, the chick from Seinfeld, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, like maybe she has some relationship with Kingpin, maybe they're dating, I don't know, but like they're hiring people and they're doing the anti-Avengers or something. I just think that big setup at the end, like you're just like, oh shoot, she's going after Hawkeye, like right now, okay. So I get
Yeah.
maybe like have an episode or like the first 2 episodes be about Hawkeye and this girl to start like enjoying these characters. But I, like you were saying, I think they did wait a little too long to kind of implement Yelena. And like not in the 4th episode, sure, but like at the very end of the 4th episode, right? Was it?
Right. Basically, I think, yeah.
So here Perez has come back in here.
Yeah.
He's just like, love a second
But-
season. Don't think it's needed. Yeah, I am seeing that more.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
you kind of figure they're going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel for TV shows. I think they already are because they're doing She-Hulk. I don't personally have an interest. I don't know, the other Captain Marvel. What's her name? Or is this the Marvels?
The Marvels, yeah. Well, I guess like the one like less negative kind of for me, and I don't know if like Kim might be able to relate with this one is like Anthony's comment and also saw Sarah mentioning here about like the Young Avengers or Dark Avengers. Like I've never read any of the comics, so I don't know anything about that whatsoever. So it would be cool to see in the future like how that like kind of culminates and comes together. But it's just like as of right now, I'm just like, well, what is that? It was teasing like Falcon Winter Soldier with that woman approaching that John guy who was trying to be Captain America for a while.
Yeah.
Like it's like the dark Captain America suit.
Yeah. Okay, so Perez was saying it, Miss Marvel. Sorry. Yeah, because I know she's in the Avengers video game, and she was kind of fun. And like, I believe she's supposed to be Iranian or something like that, or is she Iraqi? I'm trying to remember. But no, I think that has me somewhat interested. But like, I don't know. For She-Hulk, I don't like how Hulk is in the MCU. So like, seeing that like little goofy tease that they had doesn't really have me that hype. I'm still gonna watch it and give it a chance, just like I did Hawkeye. I didn't think I finished Hawkeye, but it was just that good. So I was like, okay. But yeah, that's what it is for me. So Kim, did you have any like gripes or anything like that?
So my negatives with the show would probably be, and I know this is probably unpopular, but I don't like that it was only 6 episodes because I feel like everything kind of felt rushed. I also was not really a fan. I feel like they should have had Kingpin in earlier as well as Yelena. Cause like I feel like Yelena, she's like cool and everything, but we already know that. Like if you've seen Black Widow, you already know like what Yelena can do, which is why when she comes in and Kate Bishop is like challenging how tough she is, she can just laugh it off because we as the audience already know what she's capable of. But I feel like they should have added Kingpin in earlier because it was like you were saying, Justin, he is so like such a good villain. Like I feel like it would have made it more like you said, I didn't care about the tracksuit guys, but if I knew that they were working for Kingpin, I might have cared just a little bit more. My other thing is agree. I think that they kind of alluded to a lot of things that non-comic book readers like couldn't really pick up on because I didn't know anything about the Young Avengers or the like. I just feel like it left a lot of plot holes for people who don't know too much about the Marvel universe. Like I feel like it should have.
There's definitely people out there. I'm not trying to blame anyone or anything, but there's definitely people that are just like, oh, I hope they're going to do this because in the comics it's like, bro, come on, you didn't read the comics, you just looked it up on Wikipedia. Like you're not fooling me. And I think I used to be like that too because I'm just like, I read the thing about John, whatever his name is in Captain America, because I was just like, oh, I wonder if he was also Captain America then. So I looked it up and it had the name and it also said like he took the serum. I was like, oh, well, great. I guess I know what's going to happen in this show then. He's going to take the serum. So like, I guess it eventually starts ruining stuff and people get their own theories in their head and stuff. So it's just like it's what happened with WandaVision. Everyone's just like, oh, it's got to be Mephisto this, Mephisto that. So it's just like you get all these theories, and when you don't see it deliver, you're just like, really? You can do that for us? Like,
yeah, man. Like, no, I agree. And yeah, one thing I was going to add in as well is
sorry about that. Sarah said Miss Marvel's Pakistani. So
cool.
Yeah, I thought it was Iraqi or Iranian. Sorry.
No, cool. No, I was just going to add last thing about like what you guys are saying and kind of like touch on as well is, I feel like the fact of like they brought back Vincent D'Onofrio, I don't know how to pronounce it.
D'Onofrio, yeah.
D'Onofrio, yeah, that's the one. Yeah, like I felt like they brought him back and he's definitely not dead. I mean, you're not going to get a character from what, like the 2006 Daredevil movie to come back and reprise his role to be like, all right, yeah, he's in 2 episodes of a TV show, and that's it. They're not going to waste the time. Like
No
Marvel,
way.
like don't tend to kill off characters. They always
Nah,
find
yeah.
some loophole to bring them back. Like Loki was dead, they brought him back.
Right.
Yeah. So whether you like it or not, like he's back. But I think because, like I said, I didn't mean to Wikipedia this. I just wanted to look up for myself. I was like, is Kingpin bulletproof? And I looked it up. But like right away, the first thing that came up was like, oh, Kingpin's not bulletproof, but he went blind, I think, by a gunshot that basically leveled him with Matt Murdock then. So they were both like blind fighters at that point. So I was like,
Oh,
oh,
wow.
well, maybe they're
I didn't
doing
know
that.
that.
I didn't either. And like, I hope I didn't like set your expectations for him or anything like that. But it's just like, I accidentally saw that while I was just trying to find out if he was bulletproof or not. Like, he's got the bulletproof suits we know from Daredevil, but like, and like when he got shot by that grappling hook, he was just like, like broke it right off.
Yeah.
Like, all right, hell yeah.
I tend to take Marvel shows as they are. Like, I don't try to go into it with too much like what I think is gonna happen. I just like to like receive it, and I think that's probably why I enjoy them a lot more than some other people.
And that's, I think, what a lot more people like to do, because like I'll theorize if I see a trailer and like I expect this, I expect that, but like some things like for the future of Kingpin, like I heard Kevin Feige, the guy who's like the head honcho at Marvel, is just like, oh yeah, we're putting him in here, and Vincent D'Onofrio is just like, it's the same Daredevil. I keep calling him Daredevil for some reason. It's the same Kingpin that's from Daredevil, but the thing with that is 80% of the storylines and plot lines we could work in, but there's a little bit that just like can't line up that we'll probably like won't talk about. And I feel like that's what's going to be like a lot of comic book stuff from the Netflix shows, like with Daredevil and Iron Fist and Luke Cage. I think those characters will eventually be brought over, which is getting into the next segment, like the future of Marvel and stuff. I think those characters are going to be brought over, but I think it's going to be like vague backstory, like little stuff that can like fall into place. Like, I mean, obviously, I believe in the Daredevil show, Kingpin wasn't super powered. He was just a big, strong dude, right?
Right.
Yeah, they didn't really portray him as superhuman.
Yeah, but I mean, he like the blip happened, and maybe something happened when he got brought back. Multiverse thing that's been happening, Loki and like other stuff. So like, I think at this point, it's almost like the X-Men universe or Doctor Who, where it's like you don't question it, you don't try to think about it, you start to hurt your head. Like you were saying, Kim, you're just like, you just let's accept it. And my friend Ant is in here. Like, I'm gonna kick his ass right now.
Okay.
No, we don't talk about DC.
Well, I mean, technically speaking, Marvel does have their own version of Superman. If you saw the Eternals, so
pretty much.
Icarus. Yeah, and he's just going in now with it.
Okay.
Mike's like, yeah, all right.
Cool.
There's that guy.
Right.
For like future stuff, I just think me and my friend Mike, not you, Mike. You are my friend, of course, but American.
Well, thanks.
We were wondering, like, maybe for the Echo show, maybe it's not going to be called Echo. Maybe like another character will be like Echo and something, or like Kingpin Echo, or like Daredevil and Echo. Like, who knows? Like, the sky's the limit. But I wouldn't put it past Marvel to like fake out a title, kind of. Like, because you had Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then at the end that it said Captain America and the Winter Soldier or something like that, didn't it? I believe.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, like, obviously, in the show, she's called Maya, and that like gunshot scene with her and Kingpin at the end, you don't see what goes down there. So she could have just shot in the air, or like shot a trash can. We don't know at this point.
Yeah, she held the gun like near his head, and there was a good like 6 or 7 seconds in that camera pan that could happen where like she shot him, he grabbed the gun, and something might have like winged his eye, so maybe he's like blind in one eye or something like that. There's a lot of cool stuff that could be done with that, and like I said, the fact that Kingpin has superpowers doesn't bother me now. And Kingpin, I want to see the Kingpin go against Spider-Man now. Like, that's what I really want to see. I want to see certain other characters from Netflix come back. The dude who played Iron Fist, I mean, you can keep him. I'm good with that. But bring back. Have any of you guys watched the 2 seasons of Iron Fist?
I did.
Nah.
Okay. So, like Kim, I don't know how you feel, but I'd rather see Colleen. I'd rather see her
Yeah,
back
I liked
as
her a
the
lot
Iron
better
Fist.
than Iron Fist for
Yeah,
sure.
I didn't recognize she was Bugs in the new Matrix movie.
Right? I recognized her immediately, but I
I
don't
was
know if
just
that's just
like,
because I'm a girl and I just love empowering women, but like
oh hell
whenever
no,
I see like a woman who's like real tough, I like latch in. I like love them.
oh hell yeah, she did a great job.
Yeah.
She turned down Shang-Chi to be in the new Matrix movie.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I was like,
Oh,
all
wow.
right, yeah, that's what's up. But yeah, like I would like to see her back maybe as the Iron Fist, and like maybe they'll make a joke about that. But I don't think it's Marvel's place though to kind of like shit on stuff that didn't work in the past. You know?
Yeah.
Well, if we've learned anything from like Marvel movies and TV shows, they kind of embrace where they've come from in the past and kind of brings it like a new life in the current timeline. I say like Kingpin, like a lot of people don't like that old Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck, but they've taken that guy from a Ben Affleck movie and bring him now into the MCU to give him more of a purpose. And they could have recycled him. They could have
You mean the
casted
TV
someone.
show?
No, was he not the original guy in the Ben Affleck Daredevil?
Oh no, Ben Affleck Daredevil was Mike and Clark Duncan, the black guy.
Oh, yeah, the Daredevil show. Sorry, yeah, I got myself confused. Sorry.
In your defense, it's like Spider-Man. There's like 3 different iterations of the character, you know. So like, it's
How do
how
you
we're
pick
all
which
gonna be
one?
right now.
Right.
Michael
Well,
Clark
sorry.
Duncan is dead though, so I don't think that'll happen.
No, CGI, I guess, but
Yeah, right.
but no, like the Daredevil show, like Netflix. At the end of the day, they could have just panned that off and said, right, we're going to recast Wilson Fisk. Let's get a brand new actor to do that. But instead, they've gone from the Netflix and said, well, actually, we've got a bit of a backstory about this guy. We've got a guy who obviously fit that role pretty good. Let's just bring him into the MCU now. And we do, as you mentioned, Justin. You don't have to give him a massive backstory as his own film to be like, all right, well, this is who he is. If you're that interested, go watch the Daredevil TV show, which will still be on Netflix probably forever because it's their property.
Yeah.
And you can learn about him.
And now that like these guys are being relevant in the MCU and their properties aren't on Disney Plus, yeah, Netflix is hype right now. They're raking in all the viewership. There's like hell yeah. Well, Kimbo, what would you want to see in any future Marvel stuff after Hawkeye? Like
I'm really excited to see more of Kate Bishop. I'm really excited to see more of Yelena, and I hope that they get to work together a lot more. I really hope that the whole Shield agent with his wife thing dies. But I thought that but I'm also like I'm interested to see Wilson Fisk come back because I'm a huge fan of villains, and I think that he's a really good villain. I think he's a very good villain, and he's very intimidating and very scary. So I think that would be good to see. I think he's definitely going to survive, and I really like Maya's character, and I hope that they can somehow incorporate her into the MCU. Like you said, she's called Echo or something. I didn't know that.
That's a new show coming out, I believe, next year called Echo.
Yeah, well, so like I would hope so. I really liked her character, and I think she has a lot of potential.
Yeah,
I
think it definitely does have potential because it's like certain characters, it's like you're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like Echo, I think they're probably just doing an Echo TV show to segue into something bigger. Because I feel like if they're just making an Echo show for this character, obviously you got representation and like the fact that she's a cool chick, like going for her. But side note, I barely recognized her when she let her hair down in that one scene.
She looks awesome.
I think it's because like I expected her hair to be wavy or something like that, but like when she let her hair down, it was like super black and super straight. I was like, oh yeah, like I get it, but
it looks like a badass.
Yeah, she does,
yeah.
So okay, those characters definitely like. I agree, Mike. You got something?
Yeah. No, I was going to say I agree with Kim because like I think with that Maya character or the rename of Echo, whatever they decide to do with that, again like with the representation that we've talked about, I think they wouldn't have that end scene with her and Wilson Fisk where she got killed by that because people would be like like why have you introduced a deaf character and representing that community and then like oh yeah we'll just kill her off after like one a couple of episodes of a TV show. You know, I don't think they would do that. So no, yeah, I agree with everything that Kim was saying. You know, like again, Yelena and Kate Bishop's chemistry was awesome, and I think it would make sense if they're making an Echo show to have maybe Hawkeye and Kate Bishop in that, because they've had that shared universe. She's fought Hawkeye. She knows that he's Ronin.
Yeah, you know
So
what?
will she go for a
I
bit
can see that. I can see that
PTSD with that?
sprinkled in a little bit. Yeah, like have them sprinkled in, like maybe there might even be a moment in Echo. Obviously, you had that scene with Ronan where he says like he doesn't like they had that heart to heart kind of, so to speak. She doesn't like Ronan or anything, but she does. I don't think she like necessarily hates him. It's just like I can't deal with this right now. So maybe there'll be a moment in that Echo show where like Ronan or Kate Bishop like save her from something, and like you just have that like little thing sprinkled in.
But yeah, I mean, she'd still be like feeling like the grief of like losing a dad, you know, and obviously Ronan was there at that moment. So at the same time, she's never in the series. She never forgave Hawkeye. She was like, "No, well, you're lying," you know. And then obviously she's more focused on that Carl or Kaz guy, whatever he was called, or Rafa. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I think that the Kaz guy, the dude who looked like Great Value Jon Snow.
That guy. That guy, yeah, that's the one.
I don't know his name, like, so I was just like, yeah, it looks like Jon Snow.
I also agree though about the Maya thing, that like even though she kind of like let the Ronin thing go temporarily, I don't think she fully got over it. And she seemed like when she was trying to get her and her Jon Snow guy, when they were trying to escape, it seemed like she had like a plan. You know what I mean? Like they kind of alluded to her wanting to do something. So I really hope that they like run with that.
Yeah.
You know, and give her another.
I think you're right, because at the same time, that's something that has scarred her for a while. Like, and you got to figure she's got the dark past, because they even showed, obviously people started to put 2 and 2 together a little bit in episode, I think it was 3, when they were showing the flashbacks with her, where you saw some guy put his hand on her face and go like you saw him like grunt a little bit. So it's like, all right, that's some random dude. He's got big ass hands. So like, I wonder if those were Vincent D'Onofrio's hands or not. Like, I think it was.
I just assumed it was Fisk.
Yeah. I just feel like she's got a dark past, and she's probably just doing like the Green Arrow thing right now. Like, you failed this city. Like, I'm done with you. I'm crossing you off the list. Like, you're not part of my life anymore, and I have to do that to like get over things. But I think she's gonna realize and like try to get forgiveness and like try to be more open-minded. So like that could be a cool aspect.
Or she could have like a lot of people gunning for her. If they know that Wilson Fisk and her had a falling out, she could, since she seemed to have been like some bad person, she could have people coming after her, and she could end up teaming up with Kate to help her with her people coming after her. You know, there's so much that they could do with it.
Yeah, Tracksuit Mafia is coming back.
I mean, I hope so, because that's the one cool thing about Hawkeye. It's just like you're getting a kind of like a video game lingo, like a boots on the ground experience. Like even though there's stuff where they're jumping out of buildings and whatnot, you're getting a lower tier like Daredevil style story where it's personal, it's grounded. It's not a million things flying around in the air or anything like that. It's just like a car chase or something that's tangible that like you could touch.
Yeah, because they're not super; they're regular humans.
Yeah, it's not a cosmic backstory and stuff like that. And even Kingpin, even though he had superpowers, that didn't feel cartoony though with him. Like it just felt like he was durable as all hell. Like, you shoot a harpoon, I'm gonna just rip that shit out. I'm gonna throw your ass around the room and stuff like that.
Yeah, but not like what Kim was saying. Yeah, it makes him like just more relatable to everyone, because like one moment in Falcon and Winter Soldier, I know that show gets like a lot of rubbish that kind of thrown at it. I personally really enjoyed that show, but I know
I liked it.
So don't which is understandable. But there's a moment where like Sam's character, like him and his sister's having trouble like at the bank and they can't afford it. Just because they're an Avenger doesn't mean that they're rich. And I like that in the series, in the first episode, like, Hawkeye got his meal paid for by the restaurant. They're like, oh yeah, it's on us. You saved the city.
Yeah, like that is awesome. Like the personal shit. Yeah, like when I saw that in, I know they try to explain it, but when I saw it in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, not to get too off subject, but I was just like, all right, like, he saved the world. Like there's not people still like gunning for him. Tony Stark didn't like have nothing in his will about like making sure the Avengers are like still like taking care of you. But
Yeah.
I can see past that. But yeah, like you were saying, the personal shit, like where he was like getting paid for at the restaurant, or people were like, I think, was it in the bathroom that someone wanted to take a picture of him or something like that, or with him?
Yeah.
But
It's
like,
true.
I'm not gonna lie, like if I went to the bathroom to take a pee, and I'm just like, if I see, I don't know, if I see Jeremy Renner in a bathroom, I'm gonna just be like, oh yeah, what's up, Jeremy? Like, I don't think I would ask for a picture in the bathroom, and I would just be like, wash my hands, and be like, hey man, can I get a picture with you outside or something? Like, I think I would approach it slightly differently. I wouldn't be, but I think definitely like dude in the bathroom being kind of like a fuckboy or whatever, like however you want to like twist that term, but you like a fanboy, yeah. So him being like a fanboy, like obviously it's going to be embellished. Like, let me get a picture of you with this urinal in the background or something.
I feel like if I was in a coma and I just woke up and watched Hawkeye, I would truly believe that in 2012 there was a battle of New York against aliens. Like I feel like it was that realistic that like if I was like in a coma and I woke up and you showed me this movie, I'd be like, yes, in 2012 there was a battle of New York. It was real because of
like
how they like portrayed it. So I thought that was very well.
Yeah, he showed
Very
him
well
like
done.
suffering from said event and all these other side effects, but
I'm just like, oh yeah, it totally happened.
Yeah.
All right, so
No,
like, any last minute thoughts? I mean, this has been a great discussion so far, and I'm really, I can't talk.
But I wanna throw an idea out to you guys. So well, firstly, man, thank you for having me on. But yeah, no, there's an idea that I've had in my mind for a while about a Marvel show or movie, whatever they could make, and I want to hear your opinion on it. So now I know we touched on a little bit in Captain America: Civil War, but throughout all these Avenger movies or TV shows, we get buildings blown up, we get just a lot of structural damage to basically all around America wherever they're set, and nothing really ever gets mentioned about this structural damage and the repayment costs, because at the end of the day, it's going to be the government, or it's going to be like the U.S. taxes that
I guess
people pay.
The damage control people, is that what it would be?
I guess so, but I guess so, yeah. But eventually, like the government is going to be like, right, well, we're going to raise every citizen's tax to pay for this damage, and I would love to kind of see like even just a little tiny mini series of like maybe the just the American public kind of trying to get matters pressed against the Avengers or someone to be like, well, look, you need to start taking a bit more accountability or volunteer to try and get this structural damage back before you destroyed it. I would like to see something like that. I don't know about you guys though.
That would be actually kind of cool, because like it was teased in Civil War, because you hear like people saying they need to be held accountable, or they like blew up the building, and there's been news articles put out that like people were fake estimating like the amount of damage the Avengers did to New York and stuff like that. But it's a lot of money. Like, yeah, they saved the world, but they still like destroyed half of it. There was a TV show, it didn't last for too long. I think it was on NBC, called Powerless. If you ever heard of that?
No.
So Powerless had Vanessa Hudgens, Alan Tudyk, Danny Pudi in it, but it was literally just about these people who work in an office and stuff like that in the world of DC Comics. So Superman, Green Lantern, all these people, they're real, but they're the people who are just at the office, living in their world, dealing with the aftermath of when Superman flew around the Earth and turned back time. Like, whoa, that was like, we all didn't do this for a day. Like, we had like stuff like that. You're saying, like, and it sucks because the show definitely caught momentum, but it was too late and it got canceled. But it's just like little stories like that. I think that would make a great like Marvel one shot, or just maybe like a little mini like special or something like that. Like, I know they're doing the Guardians of the Galaxy special, so
yeah, just like saying that I think would be cool, because you got to think, like, especially you guys, maybe living in America, like, don't get me wrong, you're going to be grateful to say like Captain America saved your life against some alien, whatever it is. But the thing is, like, does your home insurance cover that damage of like an Avenger being like, oh, if they save your life, you're gonna get a brand new house? Because eventually, if that happens to so many people or offices, they're gonna
people are
riot.
gonna think it's like, earlier on, people are gonna think it's crazy shit. Like, there's that episode of Family Guy. He's like, damn it, I shouldn't have put all that money away for that volcano insurance. And they live in like Rhode Island or something.
Right.
But no, like, earlier on you'd be like, superhero insurance, what the hell would I need for that? But like, after you see the Battle of New York, like that would probably convince you. But after like all the other stuff, yeah, definitely sign me up for superhero insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that idea as well. And I think that even in like the lower level TV shows and stuff, they could have like more villains pop up or like mini villains that stem from hatred. They hate the Avengers because of what they did to New
Yeah,
York and because of the joke that they called.
sort of like obviously he had a grudge against Stark, like every Spider-Man or Iron Man villain does, but like Vulture and Spider-Man: Homecoming, he's just like, no,
Yeah.
like my guys are doing a crew job here. They're salvage like guys, like they're getting parts,
Mhm.
they have families and stuff like that. So it's like that's what made Vulture's villain great. Like people are rooting for that like
Because you
guy
can
on the
relate to
ground.
him. Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
but yeah, Kim, did you have any last minute thoughts, or was that it for you?
That was it for me. I enjoyed this. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
As
definitely. Like
always.
I'm super hyped to do this. I'll do this for whatever thing right before we leave. Multi-tier bundle packages. You got certain tier levels you can do. Yeah. I can definitely see that happen. But yeah, once again, thanks for watching, guys. Kim and Mike, thank you for joining me. I'm down to do this again. Marvel, DC, Kingsman, something that's worthy of some spoiler talk, I'm down for. So that's about it.
Man,
Until next
anything
time,
you want,
everyone.
anything you
Also,
want before, let me know.
I will do. Thank you, Project Red, for stopping by at the very end. Take care, guys.